Tony, you have an update on Hunter and if you expect him to play tomorrow?
A little bit of an easy answer being day to day. Definitely better today than he was on Monday. It was good for the guys to earn a day of rest, or kind of our recovery days, what it's been ever since Hoover on Mondays, and then back to work today. And he was involved in everything, but I don't know if he could have gone full speed, but he was cautioned to not go full speed through everything. So he did everything that our guys did, just not as much as he might normally do.
Tony, you guys have either played or beaten all the rest of the teams that are here. I don't want to say you're comfortable, but does that help moving forward?
I think it gives you a little bit of understanding of what you're looking at, but each day is different. In particular here, everybody that you're going to face is going to bring a different starting pitcher to the table that day, different relievers available, and then a different mindset too. Again, every day's got its own flavor to it.
How much of a benefit is it having these 2 days off and being able to kind of forget, like Hunter getting the rest, but also the pitching?
Monday's the big one. Here, you kind of get into a routine where you have a day off typically in between, so you just kind of roll with it. But there's been a lot of emotion lately. So the mental fatigue and physical fatigue certainly isn't anything these guys can't play with, especially in that stadium. But it helps kind of get you back to neutral and, heal up any, owies you got like you're talking about. But yesterday was a big one. Today was kind of back into our routine and a little bit back to normal business.
Have you decided on the pitching plan for tomorrow, and how important is it that Xander pitches in some capacity since he hasn't pitched in over a week in a game?
No, I think more importantly, last year he didn't get an opportunity to throw here. So for my peace of mind, I'm anxious to see him out there on the mound, and he will start for us. And then, how he does, it's like the same thing. Every day is different. So when we get out there in the first inning, regardless of who it is, if it's Tom or somebody else, we're looking to hunt down 3 outs as quickly as possible, and then we'll move on to that next inning, whatever it might be.
Tony, after that Evansville series in the Super Regional, you talked about Xander when you were recruiting him. That would be a guy that would play in Omaha one day in the College World Series. Just with that opportunity coming up for him, how excited are you for it?
We're really excited. I think kind of the mindset more there, the comment was related to this is the guy that has the ability to pitch on the weekend, which he's accomplished that, and help pitch your team to Omaha, which he did last year as well. I mean, it's so crucial every game that you play, and he's logged a ton of innings for us in his career with us, and just been a good leader and a good teammate as well. So I think that vision was accurate, but now I don't want to call it gravy or anything like that, but now it's time to enjoy the opportunity for him to compete, and then for us to enjoy the opportunity to watch him compete while at the same time just kind of managing the game as best we see fit.
How important is the work you guys have done in the transfer portal the last 2 years been in getting to Omaha the last 2 seasons?
I think it's been crucial because, things kind of started in 21 and certainly carried over into 22 where guys played a little higher than expectations, so good for them. But then on us in the office, it leaves you scrambling a little bit because you're always trying to predict the future and kind of try and predict the draft, which is very difficult to do. And when guys kind of play a little bit better than maybe expectations, it pushes them forward. And so you got to make up ground, and the portal helps you do that for sure.
The way Tavares has played at the plate and on defense, is that kind of what you envisioned since recruiting him, like what he's done this last month for you?
Not really. I mean, that one was different. That was a long time ago. He was really young. He had an opposite field homer at a tournament on our field, and we were able to visit with the family in some capacity, and they're just real lovable people. I was texting with a friend that doesn't even know that much about our team and was pointing out how he looks like, just on TV, he seems like a great kid, and hit the nail on the head with that. And it comes from that entire family, including his brother that's always at our games. So we just thought, here's an in-state kid. He's got the pop that you're looking for, where he can take advantage of the way our field can play for a left-handed hitter. And then on top of it, again, just a really enjoyable kid. And again, we've talked about our team chemistry and camaraderie. That's very easy to do and throw it all under one blanket, but there's a lot of components to that, and he's a huge one.
Tony, 4 of the last 6 remaining in the SEC, and will be 3 of the last 4 as well. I mean, what does that say just overall about the strength of your conference?
I think the way the league prepares you is massive. So I think everyone knows what type of athletes we have in the league, and the media attention and the fan bases and the competitiveness of the games, to me, speaks more to how it prepares you for whatever is ahead, whether it be pro ball for these guys. I mean, look at what's going on there with guys leapfrogging the minor leagues, and then for challenges here, like playing the best teams in the ACC. And then as far as the ACC and the SEC combined, I think whether you like it or not, the rich get richer with some of these facilities, some of the recruiting rules that are going down, and so you kind of see this grouping of elite athletes, making coaches like us look smart, and making the league quite honestly hell to compete in. But on the other side of that is some good things. Like I said, immense preparation.
On Facebook today, Mav from Northern Kentucky posted that
Nice.
you guys sent him some banners.
Yeah.
Just what went into the decision to make sure he got those?
I think sometimes you get off on a tangent saying this guy wants to win more than the other. I don't think anyone brought as much passion for enjoying to be in that regional environment, but also wanting to win the regional environment. And then unfortunately, outside of our office, we're able to watch some of the games and to see their season end. It was a magical run for those guys, making absolutely the most of their resources, and no one was more heartbroken than him. So we just wanted to make sure he had a good, keepsake. I know it won't be his last, but it was his first, so hopefully it's a good keepsake. And I didn't know that, so there's social media ain't all that bad.
From an outside perspective, it does seem like some people kind of want to look at the personality and bring those to the team onto this group. Is that really accurate with this group when it comes to the identity you've had versus maybe the last couple of seasons?
I think a little bit. I think you could say a little misconstrued in favor of this team, a little misconstrued in favor of the other team. I've kind of beat it to death, and I don't know that it won't get enough attention to change anyone's mind, but between all of us, the worst thing that happened in that year was Jordan Beck. I love him, which we do, and he's made us look good. He's made it to the big leagues. What a great kid he is. But the highlight of him doing what he did, for whatever reason he did it, kind of let everybody say, see, I told you so. But if anyone like you all were actually around that group day in and day out, you knew they were really feisty on the field, and off the field, they took as much time in community service, as much time signing autographs, were as good to you guys as I'd like to think, and you guys are always very complimentary of it. So I think this group has picked up where they've left off. It's a different time, and maybe it's my fault. When we got the job, we took a lot of beatings our first year, and we also took a lot of this. And everybody kind of kept note of that, and we challenged our guys in our program, at the very least, to earn respect from your teammates, from your coaches, from your opponents, from the league, and to make sure we belonged. And the old opportunity doesn't knock. You better kick the door down. So I think there was a little different mindset going on, in particular with that 21 team. They didn't win as many games, but those guys did some things where we had to say in the locker room, let's tone it down a little bit. Appreciate the intensity. Kind of some thoughts to that.
The other day with some other guys that others not in center field, do you have confidence in out there in center?
KT, Reese, Backus is shown in Lexington. The ground he covered and running into the wall was shades of what Ensley's capable of doing. And Dylan's been out there, Dylan's been really good for us in left field, but he's been out there. I trust Christian Moore at a very high level on the infield. So while he'd like to be out there to show his athleticism and it's fun for him to run around, I think we trust him on the infield too much. So there's a lot of guys. You've seen us use all the outfielders we have used this year. The only one I'd take out of that group is Charlie Taylor. We're just not going to do that again. Anybody else?
Tony, you talk about Christian saying he could go play center field. He played shortstop the first part of the year. Just what does that say about that player at that level to your best player in many respects to be that versatile and want to be that versatile?
Yeah, it's huge. And we talked about 22. If you got right next to the store, right next door to genius is sometimes insanity. It's kind of how the phrase goes. And some of those personalities in there are guys that really want to win, and it comes out in a bunch of different ways. So again, regardless of what portrait you want to paint of any of our best players, the thing we have going on is the guys with the most talent also have a lot of work ethic, but definitely have the willingness or attitude that you want, very receptive to coaching and willing to do whatever you ask them to do. So if he's doing it, then everybody else should certainly be doing it as well, and vice versa. So it's kind of a nice go around in the locker room.
Cool.